Welcome to Feminine Success TV. Welcome back. For those of you who are new here, make sure to give me a wave in the comments so that I can say hello to you, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, in the group, wherever. If this is your first time joining me live, make sure to let me know so that I can say hi to you. So today we are discussing how to know if you are grown but not whole. This is such an important conversation. Such an important conversation because what I've been hearing lately from a lot of women is, yeah, I'm handling my business. I'm advancing in my career. I am building the business that I said that I wanted to build. I'm raising my children. I've gotten married. I'm doing the things, but I still don't feel like this is it. I still don't feel whole. I still don't feel fulfilled. And it's so important to know what that means, what that looks like for you in your life, so that you can show up for the next level that you're asking for and that you're really, really looking for. What I've found personally for myself is that the more I show up for what I need as a whole woman, not as a responsible woman, not as a mother, not as a businesswoman, but what I need as a woman, the more I'm able to show up in every other area of my life, the more I'm able to give to others, the more I'm able to love others, the more I'm able to serve my clients. But what we often run into is we try to justify what we need, why we need it, why I should make that investment, why I should take that class, why I should go back to school, why I should, rather than allowing ourselves to fully lean into that gut feeling that you have that's driving you forward. Or maybe that was driving you forward before you started to ignore it for the more sensible option. Now, am I saying to be completely irresponsible, to run amok as women? Absolutely not. There is value to being a grown woman, to being the kind of woman who can take care of your business, being the kind of woman who can operate within structure and systems. However, what we are experiencing right now, especially as it pertains to the feminine, is that as women, we are being limited by these boxes that we thought would give us freedom. We're being limited now by the box of corporate America when we thought it would create freedom for us. Many women are being limited by the box of marriage, limited by the box of motherhood. That doesn't mean that you throw those things away, but that does mean that it's time for a new approach to the way that you show up in these areas of your life. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How to know if you are just a grown woman, or if you are a grown woman who is missing that whole piece, the piece that allows you to show up in support of yourself and advocate for yourself and experience the ease and grace that we say we want. All right. So for those who might be new here, because I know that was a lot, I am Yaya Smith. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I am a coach, obviously. Obviously, people ask me when I started coaching, and I always say at 3 years old. Because my family still tells stories of me gathering everybody around and lecturing them or talking to them about important things as little as 3. And now that I have a 3-year-old daughter, I can totally see that. So, what I do in my company, which is Feminine Success, is I support women who believe in success, who believe in having the best, who believe in having a life that is amazing, but who desire to have that from the inside out. Not just a life that looks good online or a life that looks good on paper, but a life that truly does feel good and feed you and grow you in every way. So I help women by helping them to curate, clarify, cultivate, and communicate the 4 key areas of their life. That's your thought life, you know, your relationship with you, your home life, which really is your relationship with others, with the people around you, how you're able to create warmth and a sense of safety within and around yourself. Your work life, so that's your work culture, your career, your calling, how you are showing up to impact the world and doing so in a way that does not drain you completely dry. And your relationships, which is my favorite thing to talk about, how we relate with others, how we relate with men specifically. And I help women to bring all four of those areas of their life, not into balance, but into harmony, into a space of peace, ease, order, joy, fun, freedom, what y'all see me doing every single day on Instagram, on YouTube, and anywhere else you can find me. So that's who I am. I'm married to this amazing man who's creeping down the stairs right now. I'm married to this amazing man. You can find my husband at Show Thyself a Man. You can find my husband at Show Thyself a Man. And he helps men to understand the value of themselves and the roles of husbands, fathers, and community leaders. And so, with that, that's who I am for those who might not know. But I want to get into the conversation today because I've been talking to a lot of women lately. I've been actually having more calls than I normally would because I don't really do like phone consultations and things like that anymore. But even with women who are joining my community, who I do coach, when you're coming in, you get some one-on-one time with me. I'm hearing a similar story. And that story is one of, I know that there's more for me, but when it's time for me to step into it, I'm pulling back. I doubt myself sometimes. Yeah. I know what I can do, what I can bring to the table, but I lack the confidence to. And the thing is, from the outside looking in, all of the women that I speak to on a day-to-day basis are handling business. All of the women that I speak to are taking care of, if they're not taking care of children, they're taking care of family members, they are taking care of their community, they volunteer. A lot of the women that I work with volunteer globally even. And to see women make such an impact on the world around us, but not be feeling that impact within, not be truly doing and believing in themselves to step into that next level. You see, we live in a world right now where we are experiencing the consequences of letting mediocre men and women stand in positions that affect all of us, when there are excellent women out here, excellent men out here who should be in those positions, but they doubt themselves, if we're just being honest. And when it's time for you to step up for the big thing, the big move, the big transition, you pull back. Not when it's time for you to show up for other people, but when it's time to show up for you. So today I want to talk about the difference between being a grown woman and a whole woman, and how to know when you're grown but you're not yet whole. Because sometimes what's missing is being able to identify what's going wrong. So many women that I talk to day to day, they know that something is up. They know that something is off. They know that something isn't right. They know that there is more for them. They're feeling that pull in their gut. If you're anything like me, you feel it in your gut. They're feeling that pull. They're feeling that squeeze in their heart, or that knot in your throat that's saying, I know there's something for me to say. I know there's a story for me to tell. I know there's more of a life for me to have. For those of us who are out here accomplishing all the things, but not really, not what you know you want to be accomplishing. I'm just saying, there's a difference between being a grown woman and being a whole woman. So the first way to know that you are a grown woman, but you're not a whole woman yet, because there's always choice, options, and elevation available to each and every one of us. The first way to know how you are not being the whole woman that you're designed to be. And that is that you're not playing full out. You're not playing full out. Now, I know we hear this all the time, play full out, play full out. But really, let's dig down into it. Femininity and womanhood is more than just accomplishing the next goal. It's more than just racking up another achievement. It's more than just having another baby. So you could be the woman who got 7 children and handling it all and all the things. It's more than that. It's more than, as a woman, getting your to-do list down pat, getting your daily schedules and routines down pat. It's more than that. Are you playing full out in your life? With all of those systems, schedules, routines, order, structure, all of those things in place, with all of the accomplishments, goals, tasks, checklists, to-dos in place, are you truly living a life that leaves you fulfilled at the end of each day and not drained completely dry at the end of each day? And I don't mean you're not going to be tired, because sometimes, many times, when you're playing full out, you are spiritually spent, you are mentally spent, you are emotionally spent, physically spent, but your joy is exceeding. You are abundant at the same time. When you are not playing full out, you're still tired and you're depleted. I'm just saying, if you hear yourself here, y'all know, for those of you who are around, just bring your bonnet, bring your scarf, tie down your edges, okay? Tie down your edges. I don't come to snatch edges, but sometimes we need those around us who will just get our wig right quick, okay? And it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It really is. Edge snatching, though, this is for those of you who are making the rounds around the internet and listening to every different femininity coach, masculinity coach, relationship guru, all these different things. Edge snatching should not leave you hurting. It shouldn't leave you bald like that. It shouldn't, have you out here scalp. All right? Scalped. Okay, so not playing full out. That's your first sign. The second is you don't know your power. You don't know your power. Really think about this. We know the power of education and the power and impact that that has in our lives, right? We know the power of marriage. We know the power of religion. We know the power of a planner. We know the power of so many things outside of ourselves. But not knowing your power is how you end up being grown, where you have racked up the power of all these things outside of yourself, all the things. But you don't know your power. And when you think about power, I want you to think about, for those of you who are believers here, my favorite book says that we are each given a portion, a measure. Do you know the measure of your power? Do you know what your power is? Regardless of how much, what the amount is, before you can know that, you got to know what it is. Do you know what your power is? Or has your power always been that you are the most reliable person around you and everybody can put everything on your shoulders and you're not going to complain? Has that always been your power? Has your power always been, at least I'm the responsible one? Has your power always been, I am the one who's going to wear myself all the way out? I'll give you the shirt off my back, which is a wonderful thing to be selfless. However, you are not powerful in your depletion. Do you know your power? Not what you can give and do for everybody else. But when it's just you and you, how are you still powerful when no one is depending on you, when no one needs you? That's really important. And to shift from just being a grown woman who everybody needs and everybody can depend on to being a whole woman, which means that you know how to stand in your power even when no one is depending on you. You know how to stand in your power to get what you need and also depend on others. You know how to stand in that kind of power, the power to receive, the power to be at ease and have all of your needs met. That is a power. And that is why so many of us as women say, oh, well, that's just her. She just got it like that. She can just do that. No, she is in tune with her power. And that's so important for us to know as women, how to connect to and understand and identify our power. So, not knowing your power is the second way you can tell that you're a grown woman, but not yet a whole woman. The third way to tell that you are a grown woman, but not a whole woman, is you're not trusting your power. Not trusting your power. Tell me how many times you've ever said something like this. And y'all can comment. Listen. This is not a lecture. This is conversation. All right. But tell me how many times you've said something like, dang, something told me to go to, something told me to buy that, something told me to do that. I was talking to a client of mine today about investing, and the foundation of the conversation was being able to trust your intuition. Do you trust your power? Do you trust your first mind? Or are you the woman who says, I know I need to do that, but let me call my girlfriend and see what she think about it. Let me call my mom and let me tell her and see if this makes sense to her. Let me talk to my husband first and see if he thinks it makes sense for me to start this business. So you're going to tell me that your calling is dependent upon your spouse, is dependent upon your mom. Taking care of yourself is you doing what you need to do to elevate you depends on whether your friend thinks it makes sense. That habit that we have of saying, but let me go see first. It's self-doubt. It's self-doubt and rooted in not trusting ourselves. Because I don't know a woman who does not have a strong gut feeling when something is right for her and when something is wrong for her. When someone is right for her and when someone is wrong for her. So not trusting yourself is the third way to tell that yes, you are a grown woman, but not quite a whole woman. And here's the thing, grown women build walls, structures, systems outside of themselves so that, have you ever heard yourself say this? So that I have something to fall back on. So that I have something to fall back on. Now, does this mean not to have savings, not to invest, not to create these structures? Absolutely not. But the structures are not your security. You are. I know way too many women who are afraid to walk away from situations because they believe that that situation is their security. Who are afraid to walk away from jobs, men, friendships, relationships, toxic family, toxic work environments, because they believe that that structure is their security. And they do not trust their own power. Greater is he that is within you than he that is within the world. We say that like we know that. Greater is she that is within you than she that is within the world. 2, we say that like we know that, but then we don't act that out. We don't walk by that kind of faith power. We actually live in greater are they without than I within. So I need to conform to what's going on the outside of me. Even if it's hurting me, even if it's toxic, I'll grit my teeth and bear through it. And as women, especially Black women, that is what we have been taught. It's to just be grateful. Find something that you're grateful for in that toxic situation. Find something that you're grateful for in that work environment that gives you a migraine every time it's time for you to go in. Find something, you should just be grateful, but not trusting your own power and trusting the opinions of others outside of you, the opinions of strangers on Instagram, the opinions of people who have not lived out the vision that was planted in you, who have not lived out your power, who don't even know their power. Because of that, we end up being grown women, yes, women who can take care of whatever needs to be taken care of, handle all the bills, handle your bills, your mama bills, and everybody else's bills. You can take yourself on the best trips whenever you want to, long as you ask for some vacation time first. We'll talk about that later. You can do all the things from the outside, but the whole woman who is desiring to flourish from within, you're having a hard time connecting with her. The version of you who trusts your own mind, who trusts your gut feeling, who trusts your relationships, and trust yourself in relationships because you know that you have the standards, the boundaries, the mindset that you need to show up and know what to allow and what not to allow in every relationship. So, trusting your power. The fourth way to know that you are, yes, you're a grown woman, but not yet a whole woman, is that you are not surrounded by the kind of accountability that you need. You're not surrounded by the kind of accountability that you need. Do you have accountability for your goals? Yes. Do you have accountability at your job? Yes. Do you have accountability at your church? Yes. But what about the accountability to show up for that dream you said you had last year, that thing you said you was going to do last year, what you were going to focus on last year, but you're still not showing up in that thing now? I mean, I know a lot of folks who say, oh, I'm going to focus on having better friendships this year. And still, Netflixing and chilling alone. Um, Nobody to call, no one to hang out with. I know folks who said, I'm going to commit to building my business this year. I see all the uncertainty that's going on in the world, my job thinking about laying off, all these different things going on. But the confidence to show up and keep showing up. That kind of accountability. The people around you who will hold you accountable to your highest being, not just your highest doing. Having the right kind of accountability around you. And grown women attract other grown women, other women who are focused on the bag. Go and get the bag. Whole women attract other whole women. Women who are attracting abundance. Women who the bag is coming knock on my door. The bag is in my email every morning. I don't have to go out and chase and find. You attract women who vibrate on that level when that is what you are desiring for your next level. And not only desiring, but actively seeking, actively putting yourself in alignment with through your actions, through your investments, through your relationships. So, not surrounding yourself with the accountability that you need, not just want, because we all want the next magazine cover. Can you find people to hold you accountable to that? Yes. Can you also find people who will hold you accountable for sustaining that success when you reach it? Yes, you can, but you've got to be intentional about that because most people are just looking at the cover. Most people are just looking at the promotion. Most people are just looking at the marriage. Tons of people can find folks who will hold them accountable to dating and getting married. But what about the kind of accountability that you need to sustain a marriage, to grow a family and a legacy, to create a culture? That's a different kind of accountability. So surrounding yourself with the right accountability to get you where you're going. That's the fourth way to know that you are a grown woman, but you're not quite yet a whole woman. And the fifth way, this is so important, y'all. This is so important. As a matter of fact, before I even go into it, I'm going to do a quick recap because we're going to have a time with this fifth one. So the first way is to know that you are a grown woman, yes, but you are not quite showing up as a whole woman, a woman who can trust herself, a woman who is confident in herself, a woman who shows up, her yes is yes, her no is no, and she gets what she desires from life in a way that's not angry, aggressive, or any of those things, but that allows her to have ease, allows her to have joy and freedom. So, how do you know that you are a grown woman, but not quite yet that whole woman? The first is not playing full out. You're not playing full out in your life. Yes, you may be showing up and accomplishing, showing up and getting the promotion, showing up and doing all the things on the surface. But are you playing full out from the inside out? Are you pouring into yourself on a consistent basis to give yourself what you need? Not just what we see others doing online. We pouring into ourselves, going to the spa, which is great, but your cup still doesn't feel full and you're still getting depleted and drained very quickly. Playing full out requires knowing yourself. What does ease mean to you? What does leisure? What does luxury? What does impact mean to you? What does income mean to you? What does showing up mean to you? Are you playing full out for yourself, not just the game the world can see? Okay, so that's the first way to know. The second is not knowing your power. When you think about the word power, I want you to also think about your portion. What is your portion? What is your measure? What is the gift that you have been given? And are you fully living it out? Are you fully thriving in it? Are you fully giving it to the world? Do you even know what it is? Do you know? Not knowing your power is the second way. Not trusting your power is the third way to know that you are a grown woman, but not quite a whole woman. Because grown women create so many structures outside of themselves. They create the safety net of a degree. They create the safety net of a job. They create the safety net of a marriage. They create all of these safety nets, but do not always live in the space where they are trusting their own power. Who are you outside of all of that? And do you trust yourself to be all of yourself outside of that? So, not trusting your power is the third way. The fourth is not surrounding yourself with the accountability that you need, the accountability that you need from the inside out. There are tons and tons and tons of people, groups, organizations that will hold us accountable to the masculine side of life, which nothing wrong with that. The accomplishments, the goals, all of that. However, very rarely are we held accountable to the things that fulfill us as women. We're held accountable to getting married, but we're not held accountable to upholding a healthy relationship, sustaining a healthy relationship, and building a legacy. We're held accountable for getting the promotion, but we're not held accountable for sustaining the level of self-care that is required to be at peak performance in your position. You're held accountable to going to college and getting the degree. But again, you're not held accountable to have the mental health practices in place, the spiritual health practices in place that allow you to sustain the amount of effort that you're putting out as a woman. Because I don't know one woman who went to college and was just in college. Most of the women that I know went to school, but they were also working, or also on the weekends they would go home and take care of an aging parent, grandparent, or also they were helping out their friends, also they were volunteering, also they're in these community organizations, and we are held accountable to showing up in all of those ways, but we're often not held accountable for the actions and the practices that are required to sustain those things. So that's number 4. Number 5, how to know that you are a grown woman, but not quite yet a whole woman. You are not taking quality time to pause and pour out and pour in. You're not taking the quality time that you need to pause. Why don't grown women pause? Why don't grown women sit down? Why don't grown women stop? Why are grown women always grinding? Why are grown women always getting to the bag instead of the bag coming to them? Why is this? Because they don't sit still, because they don't pause, because they tell themselves things like, I don't have time. I don't have time for that. I'm too busy for that. Oh, I wish I could, but I'm just too busy for that. Oh, I wish I could, but such and such needs me. Okay, okay. And so if you're not taking the time to pause and pour out, when you are experiencing grief, loss, difficulty, challenges in everyday work and business. I'm a business owner. I've been full-time in my business for 7 years now. In this business, I've been full-time as a business owner for 9 years now. And what I can tell you is that it is very easy to get to a place where you feel like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have the energy. I don't have it. Okay. But as you're pouring out, what is being poured into you daily? Difficulty, the coworker who got frustrated and was snappy or short with you, your boss had an attitude, the person at the drive-through line with their little whatever. All of these things are in you. They might not be consciously at the top of your mind, but these are all things that are part of your experience. Not taking the time to pour out whatever stress you experience and pour back into yourself those things that you need when we talk about playing full out, when we talk about showing up for yourself in a bigger way. Not taking the time to do that, quality time to pause, is why so many of us never reach the level of wholeness that we're looking for, never reach fulfillment, because fulfillment is an option for you and it is available for you, but right now you are filled up. You are filled up to the brim. If you don't have time, you don't have time to be fulfilled. If you don't have energy, you don't have the energy to be fulfilled. And so many of us have been taught the backwards ideology that I will work myself to fulfillment. When I work enough, then I'll be able to pause. Then I'll be able to stop. But my coach tells me something all the time, and it's so valuable. She said, how you start a thing is how you're going to finish it. How you build it is how it will be. So if you build it, if you build your career being the woman who has to hustle, grind, guess what? You're going to keep having to hustle, grind to sustain it. If you build your business that way, that's what you're going to keep having to do. If you build your relationship based on the idea that I'm going to hustle to prove my worth, I'm going to show you that I'm worthy, guess what? You're always going to have to show that person that you're worthy. You're always going to have to hustle to prove your worth. So that is why it's important to pause, to be willing to pause so that you can pour out all of that old programming that's no longer working for you. You can pour out all the stress that you don't want to carry on to tomorrow. You can pour out all of the rejection that you've experienced, that is stopping you from stepping into your bigger, that's causing you to feel that self-doubt, and you can pour in the things that you absolutely need to get to, not only get to your next level as a woman, but sustain yourself there and sustain yourself as you're growing. Because a lot of people talk about getting to your next level. Okay, but really, you're not even looking, I know the women I work with are not necessarily looking to get to a next level as much as they are looking to put themselves on a trajectory that makes growth consistent constantly. It's not, let me step up to this next step and I'm gonna stop here. That's my next level. No, my clients more so want to be on an escalator rather than taking the stairs. So once I get in alignment, I'm going to continuously grow, not keep having to get to the next step, start at the bottom, work my way up, get to the next step, start at the bottom, work. No, 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 no. We're looking for ease. We're looking for order. We're looking for a strategy that can then sustain the system. And so if that is you, if you're hearing this and you're like, I am ready, what is next? I am hosting a free training this Sunday. It's a free masterclass. It's called Pause and Prosper. Now, the point of this masterclass is not to give you another strategy to hustle or grind, because I don't know how to do either, okay? Let's just start there. I don't know how to hustle or grind, so I can't teach you how to do it. But how to pause so that you can pour out the things that are no longer serving you and pour in what you need and still prosper. So often women don't pause because we think if I stop, everything's going to fall apart. It's time to evolve that mindset so that you can pause and know that you can still prosper. So the link to join or register, save your spot for that masterclass, which is Sunday, is in the description of this video. Whatever platform you're on, it's in the description. For those who might be just listening, you're like, I'll go to the link on my own. It's bit.ly/pause and prosper. bit.ly/pause and prosper. All right. So this Sunday, we're going to be talking about that. What I really want to share with you on Sunday is how to embrace feminine ease. So often we hear ease and we think, oh, well, life is not easy. There's so much that goes on in life. You can't just press an easy button. You can't, one size does not fit all. You're absolutely right. This is not about pressing the easy button in life. This is about pressing the easy button inside of yourself. This is about getting into a space of alignment and trust with yourself that allows you to be at ease, that allows you to flourish. Think about this. A plant doesn't struggle to grow. No matter how big the tree is, it comes from this little tiny seed, doesn't ever doubt itself, doesn't ever struggle, and somehow that tree gives us shade, gives us fruit, gives us covering for years and years and years, some trees, hundreds of years. It's time for you to move into a space where you are not trying to grow anymore. You are not forcing growth. You are not hustling to grow, grinding to grow, but your life is growing and in alignment and at ease and peace in every area. All right. So Pause and Prosper is on Sunday. I hope to see you ladies there. I'm looking in the comments to see if y'all have any questions, but I don't see any. So I'll wait, I'll pause for a few minutes to see if there are any questions on the floor that I can answer for you tonight. Hi, husband. Hi again. Can you bring me some water? If there are any questions, y'all, I'm losing my voice, that I can answer for you tonight, or anything that I can support you with. Any questions about the masterclass? It is at 7:30 Central Time, I think. I think. I hope. It's at 7:30 Central Time. It'll be about an hour. I did it on a Sunday, so we'd all have time to be there. And yeah, it's going to be an amazing time. If you have never been to a masterclass of mine, if you've never been to anything of mine, what I will say is bring your notebook, bring your notebook, have your notebook and pen ready. And also quiet your environment. Make sure that you're ready to receive. Quiet your environment, put the kids down, do whatever you need to do to have that time to yourself. So Shanice writes, greetings, how do you find your power and not be afraid? That's where accountability comes in. I think that there is this big idea that when you know your power, when you trust your power, you humanly won't feel afraid to step into that power. And you will. You absolutely will. Because when you find your power, that's when you truly plug into God. That's what nobody wants to tell you, but I'm going to tell you. That's when you truly plug into God. And I can say, as having, I sing, I dance, I have a lot of artistic talents. There comes a time when you're plugged into your power where you can truly feel the presence of God. And that feels scary in your human body. That is the feeling of, my dream is too big for me. My goal is too big for me. How am I going to do this? That's that feeling. And that's okay. But that's why accountability is so important. So many people are out here trying to be castaway. You trying to be Tom Hanks on an island by yourself. And Tom Hanks could have got home a whole lot faster if it was a group of them. I know that much. If he had some strategy around him, I know that much. So be mindful of that. The fear is going to come, but who do you have in your corner who is pushing you past that fear? Who do you have in your corner who is supporting you in faith? And who is reminding you of your successes, who's reminding you of who you are as a woman. That's why accountability, the accountability that you need is so important, because I experienced this recently with a friend. She did not want to go back to work. Um, she wanted to start her own business, and she had coworkers who were, she had me, of course, as her friend, who was like, listen, girl, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, because I'll be that friend. But she went to work every day, and her coworkers were like, girl, you need to take that good job, and you didn't do this, do that. So she ended up taking the job. Why? Because she was afraid of going out on her own. And the people that she had around her, yes, they were holding her accountable, but they were holding her accountable to a goal that was smaller than her true desire for herself. And you'll always have those people. That's why it's important not to be the person who's like, let me call my mama and see if it makes sense to her. Let me call my friend and see if it makes sense to them. Because people will hold you accountable, and they do care about you. But a lot of times that is only to the level that they are willing to go themselves, only to the level of their fear. So what I would say for you, Shanice, and anyone who has that question, is to get some fearless friends around you. Get some fearless support around you. Some people who take chances and make mistakes. Some people who don't mind taking risks. Because when that is your model for friendship, for life, you're seeing people take risks all the time. It's like, if they can do it, I can do it. You literally become an average of the 5 people you keep around you. So if fear is driving your car, ask yourself, who else around me has fear driving their car? Who else around me is living below, not their means, but below their standard? Who else around me is loving below their standard? Who else around me is experiencing that? Now, ask yourself, who around me is living up to the level that they know that they can live? Who around me seems so fulfilled, so prosperous, so abundant, so joyful? Where are those people? So that's what I would say, as it pertains to fear and being in connection with your power. Is so important to also be in connection with other powerful people, and to have, it could be a fearless few. Having people around you who are fearless and who are willing to take risks, and who believe that you can make a mistake and still thrive, that you can pause and still prosper. So for those of you who are ready for that, I look forward to seeing you in Sunday's masterclass. The link is in the description. It's a free masterclass. You're going to totally enjoy it. You're going to have an amazing time. You're going to learn. You're going to feel edified. You are going to leave feeling like a good church service. That's what you're going to leave feeling like. You're going to leave ready to take your life to the next level, to the true next level, take your growth to the next level. I'm just saying, bring your notebooks. Bring your notebooks. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all soon. I'm about to get back to this puzzle that I have over here. If you're following me on Instagram, follow along with the progress of this puzzle because, child, it's taken me a minute. I've been doing it since yesterday. And it's 500 pieces. So there's that. My brother says I'm boring because that's how I spent my birthday, but I don't really do birthdays. And I mean, I don't know what he expected me to be doing, like go to the club or something. I'm not against the club. That's just not where I am going to be hanging out. So I don't know what not being boring looks like for a 33-year-old, but I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to finish this puzzle. If y'all have any questions about Pause and Prosper, shoot us a DM. Someone on my team will get back with you. You could also send us an email if you have any questions. But with that, I'll see y'all on Sunday. Peace.